Folks, let's talk book haul. I have picked up a number of things, a few in physical, but mostly digital stuff over the last, say, 2 weeks. So I've talked about reading Curse of the Mistwraith by Janny Wurts. This is the first book in the 11-book series, The Wars of Light and Shadow, and this is very good so far. I'm about a quarter of the way through the book. I did decide, as I may have mentioned before, that I'd really rather be reading it in physical format because it would just be easier to keep flipping back to the glossary in the back of the book. So I did that, and it is here. I also picked up Book 2, Ships of Merior. I ordered these from Amazon, unfortunately, because none of the bookstores. I've looked at 3 Barnes & Nobles and 2 Books A Millions around here, and that's what I got here in Akron, Ohio, folks. And none of them carry this author at all, so they had to get bought through Amazon. I got the mass market paperbacks. I'm going to try to put a whole set together that matches. That would be cool. I also talked about reading Knight of Knives by Ian C. Esselmont, the co-creator of the Malazan world with Steven Erikson. Based on a bunch of recommendations, I've got like an omnibus version of the novels of the Malazan Empire, of which Knight of Knives is the first book, and I've kind of peeked into Return of the Crimson Guard 2 and read like the prologue and a little bit of the first chapter, and the writing has improved dramatically. Even more so in this one, where I have gotten about as far in, I'm like maybe 4% of the way into the book. Dancer's Lament. This is the first book in Esselmont's Paths to Ascendancy series, and there's an even bigger jump in like the writing quality and the pacing and the tempo and all that. I did pick up at Barnes & Noble a physical copy of The God Is Not Willing by Steven Erikson. This is the first book in the Witness series. I'm a little confused as to which series is supposed to run long, whether it's this one or the other one that we'll talk about in a second. Haven't even peeked inside this thing yet, other than to look at the table of contents. But, obviously, I'll be reading this. And I picked up Forge of Darkness, also by Erikson. This is the first book in the... Also by Erikson, I picked up Forge of Darkness. This is the first book in what will eventually be the Carcanus trilogy, a prequel to the Malazan Book of the Fallen. This has come very highly recommended. I can't wait to get started on this, but I kind of want to read the sequel first. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. You tell me. And let me know in the comments what books you've picked up lately.